All right. LinkedIn is in. Just waiting for a confirmation that YouTube stream is working. I really need, don't know, like a post screen or something like that, but I don't have time for that. All right. Welcome to your favorite vibe coding cabin, right? So it has been an interesting night. I definitely ran out of energy, which was a fun thing. So yeah, uh, in Germany it's currently winter, obviously. As you can see, it's quite nice. It's all right. It's snowed. I'm sitting in the middle of nowhere with a lot of snow, and yeah. So I ran out of energy. Usually, this cabin, this tiny house, is powered by solar cells, which are on the roof, which means they're covered by snow. So at this moment, this thing is barely generating energy. But obviously, I found some energy. Luckily, the owner of this tiny house are prepared. They have an backup generator. So I'm currently running on fossils, which is super funny. But yeah, that's how it is. Because the full setup draws around 250 watts, and there are some appliances inside of this cabin that's also running, which means, yeah, there's no way we can power this solely by solar energy at the moment. At least not with 3 cells on the roof. So yeah, welcome back. And I actually want to show you because yesterday when I was arriving, weather it was already dark, right? So let me give you a couple of winter vibes, right? And also, I really figured the fire thing, so it's definitely cozy inside of here. And yeah, this is the outside view. This is where I've slept, which is also super cool. And I definitely kept the blankets open because it was such a to that kind of nature. I also a bit of scary because like don't know if there would be something. It can look into the cabin, and if it's really dark, you don't see anything. But luckily, we had the full moon yesterday, so it was when there was no clouds. It was actually super cool to see all the snow. It was yeah. This is actually the best experience so far. But yeah, Imal is with us, which is super cool. Thanks for joining. By the way, could you let me know if the camera is lagging? For me, it looks like it's lagging sometime. It might be because currently MacBook is also running something, but I guess looks good. But yeah, so far that's from the survival side of things. But okay, I see that the stream OBS has some issues with the frames. Okay, I cannot change this. I might need to stream from the DJX Spark that definitely has more GPU capabilities than my old MacBook. But yeah, we have to live with that. Couple of camera frames actually are dropping, which is yeah. We will dig deeper into the code side of things because last time you checked with me, there was I had troubles making Cloud Code run locally. As you might know, Cloud Code proprietary just works with Cloud models from Anthropic, right? No, you can actually hook into that. There's a tool which is called Cloud Code Router, which enables you to actually use different models. You can hook up Gemini as well. Like all your cloud models work as well. So yeah, I finally figured how to do this probably locally. And it was quite a journey because not every model that I brought with me on the DJX is actually capable of tool calling or can eat images, which means, yeah, I'm very much limited by the models that I have. So I was rethinking the challenge. I'm not adjusting the rules, I still generate the code locally, but the thinking is now a different model because my thinking model that I brought with me, it is GPT OSS, 120 billion parameters, did not do the job for me. It had troubles with the tool calling. Actually, it doesn't need to do the tool calling, but it provided some issues. I don't know, and I don't have the time to dig deeper into this, so I figured something else. So the current setup that I'm using locally is for code generation, Nematron 3 Nano, which is so far a good choice. If we want to have a look into the benchmarks, definitely is interesting, and it's also something, like it's not a huge model, obviously it's a nano version of the model, right? But compared to what we could have with the GPT variant, so it's definitely more or less mid-tier, but it streams fast and it has a huge context window, which was also an issue yesterday. I haven't figured that Ollama limits the context window, and local models have also their own context window as well. So for cloud code, I need a better context window, a huge context window, and I figured Nematron does the job. By the way, NVIDIA model, which makes this even more funny because it's definitely running on an NVIDIA chip. Maybe there's even a benefit of that. Most likely there is a benefit. So yeah, it does for the moment a good job. So, but what I also figured when I was generating the first lines of code, that it is definitely so much slower, which maybe adds to the cabin vibes, but definitely limits myself a lot. So I was also already preparing the end side of things, because every time this thing is doing it, it's actually taking some time to do stuff. I can do something different, right? So yeah, as you can see, this is currently the step that it's doing, and also super cool since the thinking is now done by Gemini, and Cloud Code provides questioning back, which I've never seen with Claude models, but Gemini is asking me stuff like this. So do I want to provide already the super base URL and anon key, use placeholders for the moment, and let's go. So this is now the interesting part. It's using Gemini for the thinking, which is good because I need a proper thinking model. And for writing the code, it is doing it with Nematron. And yeah, now you can really work autonomously, because at this moment we are setting up the project. So what is the task that it's currently doing? It is providing Superbase out service. So yes, I will work with Superbase, which I think it's interesting. In Vibecoding, it's the go-to standard, but usually I would go to Firebase, which is my usual way of doing apps. But I want to do this differently. I want to do this with Superbase. I always wanted to do something completely with Superbase. I had client projects where I was playing around or actually developing with Superbase, and I think it might be cool. Only thing, I'm not super keen to use Postgres for the data storage of their, yeah, let's say the data behind the food stuff. Because originally, I would love to use MongoDB for that, just because I think the aggregation pipelines of MongoDB are way superior to traditional relational databases. I might get burned for that, but yeah, I would do this with MongoDB, and I think I will do this still with MongoDB. So I will have the Supabase for the chat sessions. I will have the users inside of Supabase, configuration of the users Supabase, so all the user data in the end, or the data related to the user there, and the food data will be most likely MongoDB. Hi, Blessing. Cool that you joined. I'm already vibing, and yeah, this is at this moment locally, which is super cool. I figured it just took me last night, which is also 1/3 of the time that I can do stuff, which, yeah, will be fun. But yeah, at this moment, generating Supabase out, and I think the next step would be the login page. On the app side of things, it looks bad. Like, it even has currently an error. Let's see if I can run it. All right, yeah, this is the whole app at this moment. It's pretty much just main page, and currently working on some services. I already generated for testing purposes the pipes that I want to use. If you're not familiar with that, it's like transforming data strings. So category pipe, weight pipe, volume pipe, short number pipe. Those are usually stuff that I need for my apps, especially short number pipe. It's like turning a big long number to something like 1K and stuff like that. And yeah, that's something that I definitely needed, and it was my first test to generate code with the local model, which, yeah, it's cool. So it now finished the out service, which is, yeah, it's not a lot of code because Supabase does take a lot of the job, which is cool. Now we want the login page as well. Generate the login page. It should work definitely with the out servers. It's a Supabase login. Oh yeah, actually, this is something that I also wanted to add. Of course, I also generated the Claude MD file, which helped also a lot. The thing is, when you wipe coding completely locally, what I figured is you cannot be ambiguous. You cannot be like, change this and don't add or mention stuff like where it needs to add those things, because it will search for this, and I would assume that the fast model, I guess Haiku for Claude Code, is just super fast with those tasks. You're losing like 20-30 seconds with just not providing enough context. So yeah, context engineering is a thing. And yeah, I really think more about what I write with this agent, because it will make the life of the local AI way easier. So this is something that I noticed really fast, that I need to be more specific than I would be with regular Claude Code. Yeah, add to Claude MD that every icon needs to be phosphor icon. I will be using my favorite icons, my favorite icon set, which is the phosphor. Just making sure I write this correctly. Yes, that looks almost correct. And I will show you the phosphor icons also in a second. They're just nice. Don't know, they're kind of unique, but every time there are some new apps, sometimes I recognize them pretty fast. So that area needs to be phosphor icon. To do this with Ionic, we need to provide the path with I think it is SFC. Let me check Ionic documentation, just making sure. Because with Ionic you can bring your own icons, and since this is a rule that will be applied to every prompt, just making sure it's good. It's name. Actually, stupid documentation doesn't mention that you can bring your own icons. Right, then I think it was just providing the process source. We need to provide the process result. Icons are located in assets, phosphor. And yeah, which style do we want to choose? I think if I have a look at the phosphor icons, I think we will go with bold. Having a look at the screens. Obviously, this AI haven't used phosphor icons. And this is also the thing, yeah, you could use icons like that. But I want something that is a bit more unique. So it has filled icons per default. Let's have a look at the camera icon for comparison. I could also go, oh, it doesn't, oh, it has a fill option, but filled option, I don't like it. It's like, looks like 10 years old. You could also use duotone, which is cool. You can have two colors, like a full color, which is currently opaque, and a border color. But I would go with bold. So just making sure it looks into the right folder. And then we have all the icons as SVG, which is super cool. They will be locally on the device as well. Since we are chipping not just the web page in the end, we are chipping the source code as well to the users. So this is then loaded locally on the mobile devices, which is, I don't know, I kind of love app development for that. Progressive web apps, especially. With progressive web apps, this wouldn't be part of the manifest that lives on the device. But yeah, we can have this with a real app. All right. Once this is done, once it changed this, I feel confident enough to prompt it to generate. I always use that. Yes, that looks correctly, which is good. Done. All right. Generate the login page. It should work with the alt servers. It's super base login. Let's have it doing that for the moment. And I want also to show you something, a little spoiler for later, because 4 p.m. I want to build the agent with you. Or at least I wanted to show you how you can make a multi-tenant application. I think I will focus on that. I may just show tomorrow how the nutrition agent around that will look like. But yeah, I already prepared the most minimum agent, and it's already going the right direction. Yeah, or by the way, I don't know if I have mentioned, the agent inside of this application will be built with N8N, naturally. And this means we have the challenge that there's one agent to serve every user. And I want to make this agent as flexible as possible, which means users should also define their prompts, at least part of the prompt themselves. That way, because this is a food app, it's a nutrition app, right? They can adjust this agent depending on their purpose or on their goal. And I don't know if you have thought about that, or if you tried some nutritional stuff, even if you work with studies and you want to do this like scientific accurate, Then yeah, there are opposite opinions and definitely also opposite studies. So I don't think there's one nutritional guide, nutritional coach in the end that serves all users in the end. So I cannot provide a I will provide a prompt, but it won't fit every user. So I will make this accessible for the users. So if you're a food nerd, you can adjust this agent yourself. Think of it like a custom GPT that you can adjust. You can maybe even upload the studies, and this is definitely a future feature. Nothing that I will do this weekend, but at least the prompt should be accessible. All right, and yeah, which means every message needs to go to Superbase, because this will be the connection between this agent and the app in the end, because the app will just listen on new messages inside of this Superbase application or Superbase database. And it will send via webhook the current user and user token. And then the sessions will be split per user. And I'm not super happy. Current idea is to just prefix the session with the session ID with the user ID. That way I can easily get every message of a given user. And I still have the possibility to also see the session IDs, which is cool, which means it will be super, super easy to implement. But yeah, it also means that every message of every user's in one table. I guess it's the way of working with Postgres in the end, right? And I think maybe, just maybe, if we could have some way of adding a true relational field with the users, I could improve this. But still, we are working here with the chat memory of NNN, and as far as I know, there's no way of adjusting, like having an own memory store. So I think for the moment I will go with that because it will be the most straightforward solution. Let's see. What was I doing? It was asking a lot of questions back. Of course, you can use the plan mode. So this thing is doing a job. Why is it checking the home page? It doesn't need to do the home page. And the thing is, this is currently reasoning of Gemini. I was pretty straightforward, generate a login page, and it's like, okay, let's check home page first. Why though? Okay, I guess I let them cook and see what will be happening. And as you can see, this is really a lot slower than the usual things. So yeah, I will definitely have a hard time to ship everything that I envisioned. It kind of feels like slowing myself down to work locally, but I also just love the idea that this code was generated on the DJX Spark. And yeah, maybe, just maybe, there's a way to do this open source better. Yesterday I tried Continue, which is the go-to open source version of Claude code. And maybe this gives a lot of more control. If I would do this with the knowledge that I already have after the first night, I would definitely think about which models I will use. At this moment, I've tried a lot of models, actually. I tried Gwen 3 Coder, but the problem with this model, it was not capable of doing everything. It is capable of tool calling, but were some requests from the Cloud Code agents that just hit the wall. GPTORs turn out to be good because it's capable of everything, right? It has thinking, it has tool calling, and it's also multimodal, which worked also with screenshots. And yeah, Nematron is similar to the GPT-OSS version. It's also not a specific coding model. It is a general purpose model. And yeah, the benefit of using it at this moment is just speed, because it's a bit faster than the GPT-ORs, which, given its size, yeah, it definitely hardware limit at this moment. Or it might be also interesting to use more quantized models that are just, like retrained, distilled to be faster. So yeah, it's a lot about thinking actual models. It's not like using the flagship model and feel like it's the superior choice. There's really some thought. And yeah, let's see. Of course, it's asking, I just allow you everything. You shouldn't be asking again. I really like the idea, or let's say the planning of Gemini. I might keep Gemini Pro for the thinking because it already feels so different what's trying to do. And what's super annoying is that I still need to allow every step. I might go to the settings and change the default behavior. I mean, not going YOLO mode here, but definitely want to have a better experience of loading things. Okay, it generated stuff and it broke stuff, so taking care of that in a second. Yes, we want to allow this initial permission, accept default, accept edits, bypass permission. Maybe we just allow this. Okay. That should do the job, that this thing is more autonomously running. So yeah, let's have a look what's breaking. Okay. And this is an Angular thing with the new standalone models, or rather new standalone models, but I'm not a super fan of this. So yeah, let's have it fixing itself. Usually it would fix itself if it would try to build the application once it did the thing, but I prompted it to not to do this because, again, it's something that is slower in the end. I see the error, maybe I can fix it first, or I let it fix it first. So let's have a look at our first completely AI-generated page of this app, which is the login page. It should be, let's make this a bit bigger. Login. All right, so what did you do? It is definitely here. How do I reach this? It should be path login. Oh, that means there's most likely also an error. And the thing is, this is now generated code with Nematron, so it was to be expected. Okay. No, it's my dummy data. It already requires real Supabase connection. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Supabase anon key. I might drag this for a second on the second screen. That way I can do this off screen. Don't need to change this again. So how is your morning so far? Do you have New Year's resolutions that are about diet, about eating more healthy? I might have an app in a couple of days for you. All right, let's go to Superbase and figure something. I really have to do this off screen because I don't want to regenerate all the secrets once I'm done. So yeah, very much working on production. So we have a public URL and the secret. Superbase changed really a lot. I was developing apps with Firebase, as mentioned, and then Superbase came up, and I was like, this open source alternative to Firebase, which was with the other thing, usually the Amplify. AWS Amplify was the Amazon AWS version of building apps. There was Firebase, and it was so good to see that someone did all those generous services that you would need for a serverless application, or let's say an app backend, and turned this experience into, self-hosted, which is super cool. It's a shame that I haven't used this for my own projects. Usually I use Firebase. And really now want to do more on my side, on my servers. All right, this looks almost good. Also needed to change here, and now I can take this window back without leaking credentials, which is good. All right. And rebuilding this thing. I might need to set up things in Superbase as well. No, email is enabled by default, which is good. Oh, Moritz, I just saw your comment. I really like better T-stack dev for new projects. You can select the models you want and already have authentication, etc. solved. Yeah, I'm definitely a developer. I love to reinvent the wheel every time. But I will check this out in a minute. Usually there are also a lot of boilerplates. Back in the days before our AI generated code, we had our boilerplates, right? And I think we got lazy again. Luckily, we got lazy, we developers. And with AI, it's super fast, usually, if you don't work locally, to generate the services for yourself, for your project again. Usually, before AI, I would reuse this one authentication service that I developed once and want to reuse it. But nowadays it already also feels good to regenerate based on the project needs. But let's see the login page. And then would be the next task. Oh yeah, it looks shit. I think it might time to adjust the global stylings. Luckily, Ionic has good management for that. But yeah, let's have a look at better T stack. God dev. Because I haven't it's T, not R. Haven't heard about that. Is this it's not it's TypeScript related. It's not AI related. Let's have a look at something. Oh, they don't provide the usual stack that I use. MongoDB would be cool. Okay. It wouldn't serve my usual way. Also, who does only Polar for payments? I would expect Tit to have Stripe as well. Maybe I'm too old for this. I mean, if I would go the web route, it would be definitely Next.js, right? Would I ship with Expo? But I think I love the idea to have this as boilerplate. It's dynamic boilerplate. It's essentially something that I mentioned. We had our boilerplates. We choose depending on our favorite or chosen tech stack, and it had everything, right? And it feels kind of similar, but a bit smaller because we just choose the services that we want to use and run this command and have already a lot of things set up, which is smart because, yeah, if you don't want to touch code, don't want to reinvent the wheel, and it fits good. I mean, I'm doing this app with Ionic, which is also taking care a lot of about the usual struggles with UI components that we would have. Why has the music stopped? Not good. All right, let's have it just the default stylings of Ionic. So to do this, I just look for some screen that has a lot of regular components. I think this would be nice. And being context aware, I could copy from Google Stitch, which is the thing that I'm using here, also the code. But again, it would be Tailwind. I'm not sure if it's really useful. There are some cool information that I can grab, but again, it's Tailwind. In the end, it's a lot of classes that control styles. Yeah, let's try it. Let's use the context window of my local model. So creating new chat session. Just the default Ionic stylings. I want you to figure the variable. Yeah, that's again something that we can link. Just good to match the screenshot and enforce dark mode. Actually, no, let's try this again. I also want to provide more context, which is the code. Let's try stuff. Not really looking forward to provide that much context. There is a lot of event classes in the end, but maybe it will do the magic. Also, I want to add more details. This is something that I need to change clone MD. Every style change of ionic components or ionic base components should be done in separate sus files saved in components. See, add components style only. Thing is, with ionic components, we can style them with CSS in the end. Actually, ionic glue uses CSS variables, so there's huge customizations for the components, which is definitely something that I want also to have. All right, style only components should be there, like example component. All right, it should figure. Also, to make it available, import this dash in app components. That's CSS. It's always so funny that every time the local model is doing something, I definitely hear a small humming of the DGX, and it's also quite warm by now, which also a benefit since inside of this cabin it's not super warm. Even though I made fire, but I see I might need to add another log soon. Yeah. Heading out into a wipe cabin to have complete focus and only have to deal like orally with fire. Okay, that looks like a good rule. Now I can ask it to cover components that I regularly use in Ionic. Also adjust ion card, ion button. Let's have a small look into the components library, which is cool. We have cool components. Oh yeah, ion input. Oh yeah, special rule for that, because inputs can look really differently. I usually like those kind of inputs, but it's, yeah, this is like Google default. This is nice. But there's also, let's see, the iOS variation. Some inputs, I think just outline without labels is my go-to input. You know, like we don't want to customize this super heavily because maybe you're not aware, but if you're using at least app stores, really, they want that the UI that you're shipping looks like iOS UI. So you cannot deviate that much from the default stylings, at least not for basic applications. If you ship games, you can do whatever you want. But for your regular apps, you need to have at least a similar look to regular iOS components. If not, they might force you to. Okay. I will not do the ion input. I will just add a cloud rule that it always follows outline. Should be the thing. Ion item, ion list. Oh yeah, definitely we have ion lists. We also add the information, make use of the ionic CSS variables to do this probably. IAM menu, IAM routers, segment. Oh, segment button is also something that we might need. And we also have the that we need chat UI, which is definitely something that Ionic doesn't take care at this moment. And fun thing is, there's even a cool component library for that. And I think you already have the urge to type in the chat, hey, Marcel, why are you not using, I don't know, what was it, Agent? No, Agent Kit is chat UI. Was it? And I don't mean chat UI, the go-to for every SaaS nowadays, which makes every SaaS look the same. But I think, no, it was called differently. This is SDK. No. If you know what I mean, like the go-to chat UI, I think if I would do that thing, chat UI kit, I have the pretty suspicion that it's what I'm thinking of. Chat UI kit. Anyway, I won't use this because it's React, and I'm not using React here. I'm using Angular. I could have added. Yeah. Anyway, I can change this later when I'm using the new components. So this is working, and I also have to figure those graphs or radial charts, which might be interesting because this is usually not a go-to component that you can use. I mean, there are for sure some components that are ready to use, but yeah, I think I will have this customized with D3.js. D3.js is a great library for having any chart. So if you prompt your coding agent to do something with D3.js, you will most likely have pretty darn cool results because it's a huge library, huge community. And if I would look for a Apple Half chart, there's most likely some guide how to do this with D3. Not that you need to Google this, but yeah, if it's available, it's most likely also in the context window of our models, right? Yeah, stuff like that. So, yeah. Of course, someone did this, which looks cool. Maybe I will use this depending on. Yeah, it's pretty much what I want. I mean, for my use case, I definitely have to change a bit the line width because I won't have just three kind of things. We want more, and I also need different icons. But yeah, stuff that we can figure. And let's see. Yeah, of course, this is also done with D3. And oh, the thing is called Cola Clock. Cool. Oh yeah, that will be fun to try to generate with AI or reuse this library. Good thing. All right. It has adjusted our stylings. Let's have a look at the into the login components. I wouldn't suspect that it did a great job already on the list. Wow, okay. With the magic of customization variables, right? This is our new login. And the model also figured the space grotesque font. Cool stuff. Already looks good. But it's using the wrong component for inputs. I could have the email here, but I don't like the stacked view of things, I guess. It applied borders. Let's have a look which variation of the input it's using. Oh, it's the default. Okay, it's pretty much default. So we can have, actually, why do I code this? It's always, it's a dying skill. There's sometimes the urge to write your code your own, but yeah, that's not true Vibecoding, right? Let's have AI adjust this. Just on login page. Ion inputs. They need to be. No, I could describe or I could just check the documentation. We already saw it. I think it is just outline. This is also something customizing or standardizing this is important if there's in your library multiple options to do stuff like this. And again, it's part of CloudMD in the end. So we would definitely want the outline input like this. This is what I usually like. It's just efficient, looks fancy, and it's superior to the regular input. So this is how it should look like. And also make this a rule inside of CloudMD. Writing all caps because, you know, this is how you end up with a politely score of 4 of 10 in the lovable wrapped thing. If you scream at AI agents, usually I would be even more mean to them. I don't know. I sympathize with my local model. It feels like a little child that I'm at this moment need to take care of. So I'm actually super happy. This is a flow that I can live with. It's still a bit slower, but it's something that I have a good feeling about this challenge. And if I really end up with a cool app that it generated locally, not only it would make the investment into the DJX Spark more or less with a good ROI, but yeah, it's cool to challenge yourself with something new. I wouldn't have touched that much local AI if it wouldn't be for a purpose. You know, like I have the feeling a lot of people play around with local AI and they most likely have underwhelming experience. This was also yesterday for me the case. But if you dig deeper and you try to understand the problems, and actually I learned a lot about how Cloud Code works, that I don't need to bring an embedding model means there's no vector-based RAG inside of Cloud Code, which is really interesting to see. I always thought it would apply some stuff like this, but makes sense because if you see what Cloud Code is doing, it's using a lot of grep and looking for files, making intelligent search. Also interesting. But yeah, I completely thought it would be doing vector-based RAG. So let's wrap this. Have a look. It's nice. It's just working. And it's locally generated. I love this. All right, let's wrap this up. I need to focus the next hours because the next hours will be most likely at least 50% of this application. And I will see you in 4 hours, which will be 4 p.m. local time in Berlin. And then we will work on the agent. And I need the chat UI to work on the agent. So the next thing that I will be building is connecting to Superbase, the accounts, sending messages to n8n. n8n will take care of their user authentication, connecting this current chat message with the current user. And then we have our agent responding back. And this is exactly what I want to show you in the next stream, which will be taking care of building a multi-tenant agent inside of n8n. So, and I might also need to, figure the dropped frames. It's a bit of annoying that there's some lags. Yesterday we don't have lags. Weird stuff. Anyway, see you in 4 hours out of Winter Wonderland.